preparing to go back to Benghazi and carry out further evacuations. Cal Perry, Al Jazeera, aboard the cruise Roma in Malta.
Libya's uprising could shed some new light on the murder of a dissident in London. In a moment, we'll tell you about this. It's thought the Libyan Secret Service were to blame. That story to come. Plus other news of the day. Ireland looks set for a Fine Gael Labour coalition following Friday's election. Live in Dublin for that.
Well, we're going to be seeing a lot of changes across Japan, the Korean Peninsula, as well as China over the next couple of days. Take a look at this, the forecast map for Sunday. Notice that Japan's not looking too bad. We're seeing Tokyo about 15 degrees. We're seeing Osaka about the same thing. But all of this massive clouds and rain over here across the Korean Peninsula, as well as China, is going to be moving in. Now, first of all, on Sunday, we're going to be seeing an extreme amount of snow for the Korean Peninsula, anywhere from 300 to 400 millimeters of rain. Then as we go into Monday, then it all turns to rain. Most of Japan will be seeing some very heavy rain showers. Tokyo goes down to about 9 degrees, but very heavy rain showers all the way down to the south. Seoul will finally break out by the end of the day, but we'll still be seeing quite a bit of snow out here towards the west into parts of China. That is a good thing because of their drought situation that they're in right now. Down towards the southern part of China, still clouds in the forecast. Nothing is really going to change over the next couple of days. Actually, this is the next map. It looks identical to the one before. We're looking at temperatures of about 24 for Hong Kong, 23 for Hanoi, and 29 degrees, a little bit sunnier for Manila. Down towards Australia, though, that's where the big problems are going to be, especially up towards the north. Look at all this wet weather we have up towards the Northern Territory. Heavy flooding expected there, but the temperatures down to Adelaide finally start to cool off.
Rhythms of resistance.
A part of the struggle and popular resistance is art. Through my art, I resist. Resistance is my art, and my art is my war.
Musicians using music as a way to maintain their cultural identity.
I believe that when I sing to the world, I portray Palestine through my voice, my singing, and my songs.
Songs from the lost homeland. At this time, on Al Jazeera.
So let's run you through developments out of Libya as they stand right now. Reuters news agency saying the Konya newspaper is reporting Libya's ex-justice minister, this is Mustafa Mohammed Abud Ajel, is going to form an interim government based in Benghazi. Interesting development there coming out of one Libyan newspaper. More on that as we get it. Also, the UN Security Council due to set out measures against Colonel Muammar Gaddafi's regime, but there is said to be discord over what form the draft resolution will take. Much of Libya, though, believed to be out of Colonel Gaddafi's control, it has to be said, and his grip on power may soon be confined only to the capital. Fighting set to be continuing in key areas as well, including Misrata and Zawiya. Let's move on to other parts of the world which are focusing on Libya. Washington, D.C., the capital of the United States. There's Monica Villamizar at an ongoing protest in front of the White House. Monica.
Well, Kamal, it's more of a peaceful rally, really, and we're going to show our viewers a little bit of what's going on here. A few dozen people have come. They're from the Arab American community, and what we've heard repeatedly here is "Go, go, the dictator must go." And there's children here, families. Actually, we met Mr. Fadi earlier on. You are Libyan, right? Tell us why you're here and you've brought your little daughter.
Yes, I'm here, Fadi Tarposi. We're here to show our unity with our Arab brothers back in all the Arab countries that are looking for democracy, that are looking for freedom, that want the tyranny to stop. So we're showing them that although we can't be there with them, that we are supporting them from here. We're doing the best we can.
We're obviously in front of the White House. Do you have any message for the president? Is that why you are meeting here?
Yes, we're here in front of the White House for a couple of reasons. First of all, the White House is an international symbol for democracy, for freedom. So we want everybody to see that we are standing with them for democracy, for freedom. As far as what we want with Obama to see is that the people are talking, the people do want democracy and freedom to spread to the rest of the world.
Now, the Arab American community is very large in the United States. Why are there fewer people than one would expect here in Washington, which is the capital and the center of politics?
Well, it's just not here. Every metropolitan city is doing rallies today. We got rallies in New York, Chicago, Atlanta, in San Francisco and Los Angeles. So it's just not here. Even here, people from across the country have come. We've had people from Florida have been up here all week helping us as well.
What is the message to President Obama? Are you happy with his response so far regarding what's going on in Libya?
So far, we're very disappointed in what Obama has been saying. We know that even with his ally Mubarak in Egypt, he came out a lot sooner with a lot less death toll and spoke out against him. Right now in Libya, it's so much more the human travesty what's going on, and he still has not come out strongly against him.
Do you have relatives there? Are you following what's going on?
Yes, we got relatives in Benghazi, we got relatives in Derna, we got residents relatives in Trablus. So far, the relatives in the eastern part of the country are safe, and they're helping start rebuild their cities. Right now, our relatives in Trablus, some of them were able to get out of the city, so they're fairly safe. The ones that are still in the city, they're frightened. They see the mercenaries entering homes, and they're scared and they need help.
And lastly, are you happy with the way other Americans have expressed their solidarity? I mean, I understand that even people from Wisconsin joined the protest.
Yes, we're very thankful for the non-Arab Americans to come and help support us because they know that what we're standing for is democracy. They know that we want the same things that they have here in America, you know, the freedom of the press, the freedom of speech, the freedom to rightfully assemble. If we were in any other country right now where we're being oppressed, we would be all detained for doing this.
Mr. Fadi, I know your daughter is very young, she's only 5, but does she have anything to say? I mean, has she been in the protest as well? I see many children are taking part.
She was actually in her very first protest at 2 months old. So she's actually a veteran. She's probably been to more protests than I have. And if you ask her what she thinks about Gaddafi, she'll tell you.
What do you think?
What do you think about Gaddafi?
He's mean.
Okay, Mr. Fadi, thank you very much. I understand that you may be moving somewhere else in front of the State Department. We'll be monitoring the protest here, Kamal.
Thanks for that, Monica. Monica Vlimazar outside the White House. There are a Libya protest going on. Now, what's going on in Libya could shed some new light on the murder of a dissident in London. It is thought the Libyan Secret Service was to blame. Now, though, his daughter is hopeful the apparent crumbling of Gaddafi's regime will help uncover what really happened.
In a street in West London, I meet Ashur Shamiz outside the shop where his friend died. It was 1995 when Ali Abu Said was stabbed to death. He'd already fled Libya years before and was a constant critic and an active opponent of Colonel Gaddafi's regime. His friends say they have no doubt his murder was ordered by Muammar Gaddafi.
They had a policy of vengeance, you know, of taking vengeance over all the people who did something against them or who were working against them. In fact, we were all suspects. We were all on the list of liquidation by the Gaddafi people.
The British spy David Shaler, who was jailed for leaking secret documents, revealed that the UK security agency MI5 suspected Libyan government involvement in Mr Abu Said's death, but couldn't prove it. Mr Abu Said's family say the unravelling of Gaddafi's regime may provide them with the answers they desperately need.
We haven't been able to grieve properly because we've never found out or been able to put my father's case to rest. So I'm hoping with the new changes and what's happening in Libya that we'll soon be able to find out exactly what happened, who's responsible, whether they're dead or alive, but at least know that we've pursued it to the nth degree.
When police first investigated the killing, they played down the possibility that this was a politically motivated murder. But since then, it's been passed to New Scotland Yard's anti-terrorist unit. Detectives have visited Egypt and Switzerland to follow up leads. They say the case is still very much open and any new information will be investigated. Harry Smith, Al Jazeera, London.
Let's look at other news. 3 people have been killed in the Tunisian capital during clashes with security forces. Soldiers used tear gas to disperse protesters who threw stones and burned tyres. Excuse me, a government official blames the unrest on supporters of the ousted President Ben Ali. At least 12 people were injured and 100 others arrested. Yemen's president suffered a setback with several powerful tribal chiefs announcing their support for the anti-government movement. They include leaders from the Hashid tribe, considered to be the country's most powerful. Ashma Halbara with more now from Sana'a.
A prominent leader of Yemen's most powerful tribe, Hashid, has announced he's endorsing the anti-government movement. Hussein Abdullah Al-Ahmar leads a family which runs a vast financial empire and has a huge political influence in Yemen. Importantly, Hashid is also the tribe of the president, Ali Abdullah Saleh. Ahmar's resignation from the General People's Congress, the latest in a cascade of defections from the president's ruling party and inner circle.
God willing, we will continue our protest until the regime steps down and the president leaves.
This latest defection will only serve to boost the resolve of the pro-democracy movement. Ahmar's defection came as another tribe, Bakil, also announced its support for the popular uprising. Bakil controls vast territory in the north and is widely considered the country's largest tribe. For decades, President Saleh has been building strong ties with the tribes to consolidate his grip on power. Now that Hashid and Bakil seem to be abandoning him, the president may find himself almost alone and isolated in the face of a movement gathering pace and determined to oust him. Hashim Al-Barra, AlJazeera, Sana'a.
In Egypt, presidential terms may be limited to 8 years, one of the proposed changes to the constitution that will be put to a referendum ahead of elections later on in the year. Meanwhile, the ruling military councils apologised after security forces beat protesters during overnight demonstrations in Cairo. It's said the violence was the result of unintentional confrontations between the military, police and the youth of the revolution. Thousands demonstrated in Tahrir Square on Friday, calling for a faster implementation of reforms. A cabinet reshuffle by the King of Bahrain has done little to satisfy thousands of anti-government protesters there. Demonstrators gathered at the Pearl Roundabout